friendship forged in music, a partnership in its 4th decade, a lifetime in pursuit of the perfect song, and a community built along the way. The band is Skydiggers. My name is Joel Stewart, and this is Employee of the Myth. Episode 14, Andy. And now, in conversation with Jane Gowan of the Music Buddy podcast, and me, Joel, Andy Maize. We do a roll call to start this?
Let's do roll call.
Yes. There's 3 of us here. Let's start with those of you who are listening to this in spatial audio. On my right, your left.
It's Andy Maize from Skydiggers.
On my left, Andy's right.
Jane Gowan from the Music Buddy podcast.
And I'm Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Which
Joel, what's your last name?
Stewart, but I have no references or credentials.
Oh, come on.
So anyway, but here we are.
Lovely to be here.
It's an honor to be here.
I don't believe the bit about no references or credentials.
I don't know about that. And then we've got Tim Vesley
Hello, Tim.
on the board.
Words usually reserved for Cleo Lane, the man, the myth, the legend.
Well, Andy, it's your birthday week.
It is my birthday week, Jane. Thank
Happy
you very
birthday.
much for.
Andy Palooza,
That's right.
coming off
That's
an
right.
amazing show at the concert hall.
Thank you. Big Skydiggers night for us with our friends, the Paul Langlois Band and the Sadies. It was a beautiful evening.
It was amazing.
But they always talk about that venue, like the concert hall, like they always talk about that great show with Smashing Pumpkins and Red Hot Chili Peppers. And like, this was kind of my version of that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Many great shows there over the years.
You have seen?
Oh, yeah. The Jam, the REM, the Hip.
you mentioned the Jam from the stage. I was at
I
that
did.
show
That's
on
right.
the Setting Suns tour, I think.
Oh, is that right?
1980, probably.
It was 80, 81, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was...
I thought you looked familiar.
That was me. I remember I've been online because you can see old set lists online, and these are the tricks of memory. But I was sure that they started with Modern World. This is a modern world.
Yeah. No, I think that I want to believe that the memory I have was Strange Town.
Okay, so this is what
So it could be.
Ooh, we
We'll
have to
really
find
do
out.
some work on
It's,
this one.
it's only 44 years ago or 42 years ago or whatever it was.
You had an album about a history of forgetting.
Yes.
Yes, and so here we are forgetting,
Yes.
which segues seamlessly to our topic of
Beautiful.
the day.
Yeah.
Which was a line from those 33 1/3 books,
Yes.
those little pocket books that you would initially they were just about albums, and sometimes they were specifically about the album, or sometimes they were written as a reflection of how the album made the author feel. So there was one about I think it was about Murmur, the REM album, and in it there was a line from Michael Stipe about a essay that he had read that said, there was a line in it that just said, "Memory is the history of forgetting." And so I thought, oh, that's a great line. So I called that album The History of Forgetting.
Right.
And then I went back later to look for that quote from that book. I couldn't find it.
Oh wow!
Oh, dear. You have to get the ebook and do a highlight and see if you can
Yeah.
search.
Although that would be
search it
cheating,
in-
wouldn't it slightly be?
Yeah, it would be. And the history of forgetting was when you turned 50.
That's right.
And then you did,
Leap Before You Look with Michael Johnston and Derek Brady and
Lyle Molesay.
Lyle Molesay for my 60th.
And that was the band you called The Future's Not What It Used to Be.
That's right. That's right.
And that was live off the floor, recorded at Revolution, right?
Yes, it was.
That was an incredible show.
It was a lot of fun, and they're fabulous players, and it was a lot of fun to, throw a party for my friends and to celebrate the birthday that way.
I think there was one time when you had to start again. and
Yeah,
that
we
was
did
it.
and I think we might have done one or two songs twice, which was a tribute to the Rod Stewart show that I was at the Gardens in, I don't know, 78 or 79, where he played Do You Think I'm Sexy twice.
Aha.
Why not?
And then you recorded that song.
That's right, Do You Think I'm 60?
And that album, Leap Before You Look, has that great kind of tribute to the Clash album cover.
And Elvis.
And Elvis.
That's right.
That's right.
Because the London Calling album cover is the Elvis Presley album.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then the back, there are the 4 individual shots of the band members, which is a tip of the cap to Let It Be, I think. I think it's Let It Be. I love laying down these signposts or markers as I go along. So that's what I've done.
When you make an album, any album that you've made along the way, do you think of an overall theme? Like, do you go in thinking of a tone or a hue?
No, I don't think so. I think often the theme emerges after the recording's done, and then you look back and you kind of see what was happening when you wrote the songs. For this, no. Although there seems to be a fair bit of, I'm going to call it nostalgia, in what I've been doing the last little while, maybe since the pandemic. I guess I had too much time to sit around in the pandemic and think about childhood and, young adulthood and, what I could have, should have, or would have done differently, or what I'm proud of what I did, or whatever it is. So there is some nostalgia in a song like Goldslinger. It embraces both sort of the present, but it starts off with talking about, I had a very dear friend who I still see, whose family had a cottage near Kincardine at Bruce Beach, and we would go up there sometimes in the off season and hang out. And Lake Huron has apparently the second most beautiful sunsets in the world after Mumbai. Oh. And so we would go up there, and so the song starts with a line from a friend after, I was 16, they were 17. We drove up in in my friend's family Volvo station wagon, and we got a 12-pack of beer, and we drank the beer and we talked all night long, and that was a bond that we still share today from that time, from 48 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
We're about to get together on Friday. So
oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So so it starts off with friendship, then goes into relationship, and back to friendship. So that Goldslingers was something new for me because I was working on 2 different songs, and I ended up combining what were initially 2 very different ideas. But I realized that they were kind of in the same key. And
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Tangent. Sorry. How do you get the job of rating sunsets? Well, this one's number 2. I'm coming to town. I'm coming to town.
I think National Geographic.
I guess. I used to work for National Geographic. They never told me about this job.
You said, I got something to say. 4 beers in and 4 more on the way. By Lake Huron shore, whispered to me, you're just what I needed.
So bleed me.
Keep your foot up the brake. Eyes on the road, hands in position. Feel that old Volvo shake. Who knew 50 could be so exciting? I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. Can't stop thinking about you. When we get past all of this craziness, just sit back, relax.
ourselves it was worth it. We are worth it. But now there'll be no turning back.
And so this one is called Goldslinger.
Called Goldslinger, yes.
Great name.
Thank you. It is the name of my wife Andrea's hula hoop. She got this special hula hoop that is gold-flecked, and she called it Goldslinger. So I thought that's too good.
That's amazing.
Gold finger.
Yeah.
I just thought Goldslinger.
I mean, Andrea is such an amazing modern dancer.
Thank you.
You guys do create wonderful multidisciplinary shows together.
Yes,
And have
occasionally, yeah.
And she has a thing, she likes to hula hoop, does she?
Oh yeah, when we've driven a couple of times now in the last since the pandemic out to BC and back, and the first time we drove back was in November of 21, and it was when they had the atmospheric river descended upon BC, and basically the only way out of Vancouver was to head south to Seattle and then across the I-94 or 90. Anyway, one of the I-9 something
Right.
interstates.
Mm-hmm.
And she had Goldslinger with her, and we had to stop about every 2 hours. And so she at a rest stop so she could get out and hula hoop. And then she'd ask me to videotape her as she was hula hooping, across Montana or wherever we happened to be at that moment. And I'm used to touring, so when I get behind the wheel, I don't want to stop unless, you really have to. So there's a little friction there. But really accentuating all of it was the fact that you had to find a place to get a COVID test at that time still. And you had to be at the border in 72 hours. So we found a place to do a COVID test in Montana, and we had 72 hours to get from, Great Falls, Montana to Detroit, Windsor. And that's a bit of a haul. So stopping to hula hoop every couple hours was
But did the
a
video,
bit of a challenge.
did the video work out? Will you use any of that footage?
I hope so. Yeah. But that's Goldslinger, and I love the kind of the allusion to gold finger and
Absolutely.
gold singer,
Goldschlager.
all of that Goldschlager.
Yeah, sponsorship is just waiting for you.
A free shot comes with every purchase.
Goldslinger, please bring her back to me. Goldslinger, please bring her back to me. Don't forget your love, she comes first. Don't forget your love, she comes first. We're back at the beach. Bruce Power sunset, hear the seagulls screech. We all wanted more. More life, more love, more laughter. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. Can't stop thinking about you.
For this, you worked with the Vancouver Island-based producer and multi-instrumentalist, your old pal, Joby Baker. And you and Josh were out west at that point already, recording Hide Your Light, Bide Your Time.
That's right.
And Josh went home.
Yeah, we took a break at the end of March. This was 22.
Yeah.
For about maybe 3 weeks, we took a break. So during that time, I had been out west and writing some songs. I wrote some songs out west in the fall of 21 before we got caught in the atmospheric river, and so there were just some leftovers that I really wanted to have a crack at.
Well, it's 4 beautiful songs. Goldslinger, Fall It All Down, You Knock Me Out, and The Situation.
The Situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing, when you hear the record is the EP, I guess we have to call it. But, when you talk to people about Andy, they always say, "Oh, have you seen him? He dances, But the Skydiggers aren't necessarily a dance band.
Right.
But you're a hell of a dancer. But this is kind of Philadelphia soul kind of.
There's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, man, I think there's maybe the electric piano kind of takes it there a lot too.
And the
for me.
B3 and
Yeah.
there's some wah pedal on there.
There is wah.
Was that Joby arrangements, or do you do a lot of the arrangements?
I guess we would do it together. But like the other, like the Hide Your Light recordings, I would lay down a guitar part, just an acoustic guitar part, to a click track, and then I would sing what I wanted to sing, and then Joby would just pick up a bass or go to the drum kit, and he would maybe he'd swap out a kick drum or a snare drum, or he'd pick which bass he wanted to play. I mean, he's just so intuitive, and then he just starts building, and then we would sit and listen to things together and figure out where we wanted to go next.
Is there a different rhythm with how you write in terms of how you're playing the guitar versus the way the rhythm guitar of the Skydiggers were used?
Well, absolutely. Josh can play the guitar and I can't. That's a starting point. But I have a very rudimentary grasp of the guitar, so I have a rhythm that I play. And I think Josh, his right hand has been the motor of the Skydiggers from the very beginning. If you listen to Josh's right hand, that's the rhythm of the band. So for me, I definitely have a different rhythm. So there is a little different feel to what I do. And
what Joel was saying with the Philly soul, I mean, you do have a deep love of Philly soul. Is that correct?
I do. And Spinners.
Spinners. So you have some favorites?
Yeah.
Spinners and
Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I'll just throw that
Stylistics.
One. Stylistics.
And of course, I love them so much that I can't remember their name.
Were the Manhattans from Philly?
MFSB. Or TSOP.
TSOP.
The sound of
who are the Spinners? The Spinners.
Rubber Band Man. Kiss and Say Goodbye. They had that one.
Yeah, but no, who was their kind of their four tops to the Motown?
You're thinking of the
four tops.
Temptations.
Temptations.
Yes.
But there was, to the Spinners, there was another group. The
Oh,
OJs.
the
Thank you.
OJs.
All I could think of.
Train.
All
Nice
I could
one,
think.
Tim.
Yeah, people all over the world.
So I mean, you love that style. I mean, and you do hear a lot of that in this, and we did hear some of it in your last two records or your last double album. And City Is Gone. It has a lot of that.
Yeah,
Philly
My
soul
City's
too.
Gone for sure. Yeah, the fellow who did Richard Moody did the string arrangements and playing for My City Is Gone. So I got him to also do a string arrangement and play it for Goldslinger, for the song Goldslinger.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Did we mention that this is coming out on the same day that this podcast is coming out on, right? Friday, your actual
Yes,
birthday.
May 17th. Yeah.
Is that why Directive 17 were called Directive 17? Did you name that
No.
band after your birthday?
No, I did not.
Directive
It was
with a
already
K.
named Directive 17 with a K when I joined the band.
That's the greatest.
What year did that band start?
Directive 17?
Yeah.
Well, I joined them in about 83. I think it was 83. I saw them playing at a pub, Thursday night pub at McMaster, and I really liked what they were doing. I had seen the Jam, and they were playing Heat Wave, like the Jam's arrangement, and they were playing that sort of stuff. And I really liked them, and I went up afterwards and I said, I really like you guys, but you know what you need? You need a singer, and I'm that guy. So I hired a rehearsal studio, and
Wow.
I'd never done anything like that before or since, but
That's amazing.
It was what I really wanted to do.
For those of you who may be listening who are also sports fans, this is kind of the rock and roll equivalent of Tom Brady's 6th round pick, 199th pick overall in the NFL draft, going up to the owner of the Patriots at the time, Robert Kraft, and saying, picking me was the best decision you've ever made.
But you created a job for yourself.
I did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I did. And ultimately a career. That was the beginning of my professional musicianship.
Amazing. And here we are.
Yeah.
Did you think you'd be doing this at the age of 65, putting
No.
out a record and talking about it?
No, not really. I never thought beyond the year 2000.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Growing up, it was like 2000 was like, I can think that far. I'll turn 40 in 1999, and that'll be, I don't know what happens after that. Who knows?
Well, yeah,
I guess
I was worried
it
about
is gravy
I was
after
worried
that.
about that Y2K thing. Well, I wasn't worried about
That's
it.
right.
I just didn't pay my taxes. And then when the world survived, I had to pay all my. Okay.
A brave new world awaits us. If only we give in. Don't say sheds didn't warn us of the shape of things to come. Fall it all down. Fall it all down. Fall it all down. Fall it all down. In a world of disappointment, full of imaginary friends, nothing but sexual confusion. Like, wow, I kinda maybe guess it all depends. Fall it all down. Fall it all down. Fall it all down. Fall it all down.
When you're telling a story in a song, earlier you were saying that you combined two songs, you brought them together for Goldslinger. Do you ever think of your songs in a linear fashion, like you're going from beginning, middle, end, or do they all often, are they composites or collages for you mostly? How does it work?
It's a bit of a mystery to me because I don't really think of myself as a songwriter in the sort of the traditional sense of the word. I write songs, I guess, for myself to sing. I'm not like a songwriter on the level or of Ron Sexsmith, for example.
The Brill building kind of.
Yeah,
Diane Warren.
Yeah, I write melodies for myself to sing, and then it's all a bit of a mystery to me. When it ends up happening, I just I'm just kind of amazed. Sorry about the bad pun, but I
see what you did there.
It's like it'll never happen. What was that?
I see what you did there.
That was clever.
It's like I'm so glad that it happened and grateful. And if it never happens again, it never happens again.
Well,
But you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
every song, if you want to call them songs, is it could be the last one.
well, let's just all knock on wood.
Yeah.
Say you're driving somewhere across Canada or wherever, as you do. Do you ever get one in your brain and then all of a sudden you just have to pull over?
No, but one of my favorite songs was from The History of Forgetting, Northern Shore, which I started writing in a motel in Ignis, Ontario, when Andrea Owen and I were driving across the country in 2007. And we had a little child's Yamaha guitar that we just jammed into the car, and I started writing that on our trip. But I remember specifically being on the balcony of this hotel, looking out across a body of water, and there was a bonfire on the other side of the lake, and it was just, and it was a very windy night. So when we lay down, the windows were open, the curtains were flapping. So there's a line in that song, "All I am blows through this room tonight." So
Beautiful. How many versions of Northern Shore have been recorded by you?
I'm determined. It's
Joel?
There's the one on Northern Shore.
yeah,
There's the one on the
History of
solo
Forgetting.
album.
yeah,
There's the version that Margot sings.
yeah.
So at least three.
It's my how soon is now.
Yeah.
Trying to beat it into being a hit.
No, but there's also something about there's three very different arrangements of that song too.
Yeah.
And I think that really tests out a song about is the quality of the song can be this kind of pulsing sort of thing that the Skydiggers do on the full album.
Right.
It can be the piano ballad, or it can be, just voice and that, or as we did it on season 1, we played it in here with just you, Josh, and an acoustic guitar. And I just think that's really like Umbrella, all those great songs. You can kind of play them a bunch of different ways.
Nice. And Jim Cuddy and his band were playing it a few years ago when they were on tour.
Seriously. That's a good compliment.
A song like Fall It All Down, it's basically 2 chords.
It sure is.
And perfect. You don't need any more chords than that. But for a song like that, when you realize that it's only 2 chords, do you ever say to yourself, I need another chord in there, otherwise, or do you just go with it?
No, well, with Joby in particular, sometimes we actually do editing so that we're actually adding. Say that in Fall It All Down, there's the guitar intro, the instrumental intro, which comes in again after the second verse, and then it's the outro.
Right.
And that's not the way I played it. That's the way we edited it.
Don't worry, man. We can edit that out.
Actually,
that's
and
right.
I need to, speaking of editing, I think I said Fall It All Down, but I meant You Knock Me Out. Did I say You Knock Me Out?
No, you said Fall It All Down.
Yeah, right. So I meant You Knock Me Out is 2 chords.
They're both 2 chords.
Are they really?
Fall It All Down might have
a
one
third.
more. Might have that magical third
But
chord.
anyhow, the question still applies.
Well, Fall It All Down. So we do some editing where we might copy a part and put it on in another part of the song to because you were talking earlier about arrangement. So that's something that we do. But let me finish on Fall It All Down.
Yes.
Was an expression I thought I see a vocal. I take vocal lessons and have been for about 15 years from a wonderful woman named Catherine Duncanson. And she's from the Annapolis Valley. And she's got some great expressions. And one of them that I heard one day was Fall It All Down. So I thought, I put it in my notes. And so when I'm looking for lyric ideas, I came across that. After I recorded it, I went back to her and I said, "Can you remember where the origin of Fall It All Down came from?" And she said, "I don't know that expression."
Wow.
So here I am. The tricks of memory are
There we go.
once again at play. So
History of forgetting at work.
You didn't have to give her a writing credit.
no. So it's
I was wondering about that.
It's just a couple of chords.
Yeah.
But it's it's me as an older person shaking my fist at the clouds or whatever, the clouds of as Professor Ron Diebert says from the Citizens Lab. He talks about surveillance capitalism.
Yes, he does.
And that's I've got a problem with surveillance capitalism and us being monitored every moment that we're on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that there are people like Ron out there who are monitoring the monitors.
Right on. Watching the watchers.
Yeah.
Shout out to
because
Ron.
it's and Josh on our 1997 record Desmond's Hip City, Josh wrote a song called Shape of Things to Come, which was about the information highway at the time. In the first line, the first verse of the song, I said, sheds, which was Josh's nickname in the Skydiggers, warned us about the shape of things to come. Or
Yes.
so it's it's a little bit of a rant about how phony everything is, and it's only going to get phonier. And another friend had a malapropism, which I love malapropisms, and she said, all filler, no killer. And, the record label thing was always, all killer, no filler. So when she said all filler, no killer, I thought, I got to write that down too.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I think that was also, when I heard that, I was like, I wonder if this was a Jerry Lee Lewis reference, because he had a greatest hits thing called All Killer No Filler as well,
Right.
which is awesome.
I wish it was.
All filler, no killer. Is that all you want from me? Fake tits, faker hits, studio confections, pumped up erections. Fall it all down. 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 Fall it all down.
Are there other themes that you return to, that you find yourself returning to over and over again? Like I in this record, you know, you've got the beautiful misbegotten youth theme in The Situation.
In The Situation, yeah.
And the big machine in Fall It All Down.
Yeah.
And maybe also embracing life, more love, more laughter kind of theme. I see some of those in your songs
Right.
as well, repeated. But
Yeah.
do you have some that you think that you return to?
Not that I'm aware of.
Hmm.
We all have patterns, and luckily we're mostly oblivious to them, or it would be, or you'd spend a lot more time in your head than you already do. Like I say, with this, and because with this recording, and because of the pandemic, and even with the songs on Hide Your Light, there is a fair bit of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if anything, that certainly is. And with You Knock Me Out, you know, 2 chords.
Mm-hmm.
Joby turned it into, you know, the album that was playing in the delivery room when Owen was born was the Buena Vista Social Club.
Amazing.
Yeah, that wasn't even prompted by me for Joby to kind of turn that song into an homage to that kind of Cuban, that beautiful Cuban music.
So beautiful. I'm so glad you said that, because when I heard that, I immediately went and listened to which song that reminded me of at the beginning, because you've got that piano opening.
Yes.
That's got that, it's sort of, it sounds like it's a room sound. I don't know how they get that piano sound, but it's the same sound as on Buena Vista Social Club.
Yeah, it's just an upright piano, and I'm not sure how it's mic'd or how it gets that sound, but it you know, at one point he said, you know, there's a Cuban trumpet player in Victoria, and would you like me to get him out? And I thought about it, and then I thought, you know what, it'd be too much. It'd be too much of it would be turning an homage into almost a caricature of. I didn't want to go too far. I was already.
Could be like your version of Graceland. You'd be embroiled in controversy.
Controversy. I seek it.
Spring comes out of winter like a birth after a death, like a tender touch from a lover after hard times, like a new beginning after what you thought was your last chance. You knock me out, you bowl me over, you knock me out, you bowl me over, is 15 in a park named for an English queen, in a town named twice. The sound of our blades cutting the ice, just you and me. At minus 15, you knock me out, you bowl me over, you knock me out, you bowl me over.
What do you hope people get out of it? You know, the thing's already successful, right? Because you did it, and it's this 4-song thing is a celebration. What do you want? What do you want your community to get out of this?
I hope they enjoy it. Just the enjoyment of hopefully listening to something that gives them pleasure. It certainly gives me pleasure to have done it, and I think there's, besides Fall It All Down, I think the songs are relatively, for me, positive, and there's a certain amount of joy in them. And
you say joy. I would add the whimsy to, like, there's kind of an aspirational.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes the world as we wish it were versus the way it is. Sometimes it's nice to be around.
Like You Knock Me Out is, it's each verse is kind of a vignette from a moment, a happy moment in my life, or you know, one verse is a tribute to my mother. You know, one's to Andrea, one's to Owen. It's just trying to put a positive spin on things.
Once a kiss, twice a wish, 3 times a letter, but more than this. After 3 kids, you weren't born to suffer. They could see right through that ghost in you. Looks pretty good, but it's hard to tell. But we'll take a chance on the dance as well. 'Cause you knock me out, you bowl me over, you knock me out, you bowl me over, you knock me out.
So there's lots of great background singing on here, no surprise. Did you do most of your own Bee Gees?
I did. Joby sang a little bit on, he sang mostly on The Situation.
Well, that one's a real rocker. I love it.
And I am actually playing the one of the riff electric guitar on that song, which was a real pleasure.
Yeah.
That is a very truncated story of the band. I wanted to tell the story of the band, and that's a very condensed in 5 verses and 5 minutes version of the story of the band, or moments from the story of the band.
Did Derek really soil the side of the van?
Wasn't Derek Brady.
Okay, that's good.
This was it was Derek Ross, who signed us to our first record deal, and
Former
and
drummer for the Spoons.
and managed us, and was a mentor and great friend to us, and still is. But we played a show in 1992 at Thunderbird Stadium on Canada Day, and the Hip were headlining, and it was also the year that Spinal Tap started. Their first show of the day was in St. John's. Then they flew to Toronto and did Molson Park, and then I believe they flew to Vancouver and did Thunderbird Stadium. And so that was quite a night. We might have had a little too much. We might have consumed too much of just about everything, and at one point. Josh got into a fight side stage with the Sea Fox mascot, and while the Hip was playing.
I can totally picture that.
Yeah, Josh has a bit of a thing for mascots and clowns. And then on the way home, there was, in a minivan, those side windows only open so far.
Oh, it was a minivan.
It was a minivan.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and then, there's a verse about Jimmy tended the bar, which is the cabana room, which Tim would be very familiar with. And Jimmy Scopus was the bartender there, and he ran everything. He was the booker. He was the bartender. He was quite a guy. But he gave everybody a chance to play, and if you brought people into the room, you got a chance to go back again. But he would, when people asked for water, he'd say, "No fucking water for you."
like the soup Nazi.
He was not. He wanted people
We don't
to buy
serve water.
He made his living off the percentage of the bar sales, and you could of course not get away with that today, but at the time, in 1988 or 89 or whatever it was,
You must drink beer.
it was no fucking water for you.
Of the situation, take a look at what you have done. You made a mess of the situation. Sweet Pete onto Speedo, but you smuggling on a hot summer night. Heads up the stairs out of Tilly's place into the bright downtown lights. 9:30 to Bathurst, up the stairs to the second floor. A suitcase for a kick drum, singing we don't talk much anymore. Take a look at what you have done. You made the best of the situation. Take a look at what you have done. You made the best of the situation. Jimmy tended the bar, so no fucking water for you. Clyde fans and a bucket, and Rudy, a hand he sure could have used. Take a look at what you have done. You made the best of the situation. Take a look at what you have done. You made the most of the situation.
The story of the band is one of longevity and, as you've said, the art of showing up.
Yes,
And consistency.
absolutely. And now we're the most punctual band in the land.
Are you?
Oh, yes, we are.
It's a good reputation to have.
We need to put a trademark on that.
That's part of your brand.
That's right.
Woo, branding. Yay.
But you've probably done a lot of hurry up and waiting in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have an activity that you do, a preferable activity that you do when you're doing in that situation?
Not now, no.
No.
No, everybody used to smoke at some point in time.
Did you smoke
In every
as well?
band. I
Yeah.
did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And that started waiting, and waiting that sound check. You'd just bum a smoke from somebody. But thankfully that didn't continue forever. Yeah, waiting. The hardest part of it all is waiting. And like, I don't know, I think I would play for free. I get paid to be away from my family and to wait and to wait.
To know how to navigate that, to be in good spirits.
I don't know. I mean, the best way to do it now is not to be away too long. When we started out, we might be away for 4 to 6 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a long time to be away. And now it might be a week. That's much more manageable.
Well, I like that line. You made the best of the situation.
Yeah. Well, the first time in the intro, it's you made a mess
Yes,
of the
right.
situation. And then it changes to best and most.
Right, yeah. If Goldslinger did become the next Bond theme, would you be okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, just putting that out
Yes,
there.
it would.
Is this what 65 felt like it was going to be? You know what I mean? We all grew up with hope I die before I get old and da-da-da-da. And now, like this month, the Stones are playing.
Yeah.
They're 80. They sound great.
Yeah.
And here
Yeah,
you're
I
at
hope
65.
someone will tell me when it's time.
Yeah.
I sometimes think that there are, just because you can do doesn't necessarily mean you should. But inside this chest beats the heart of a 10-year-old, and it always has, and hopefully always will. I don't feel any different than I did at 10 years old, which was my favorite age to be, always has been. I loved being 10 years old. It was magical. And so I think I keep searching for that feeling. But how quickly it's all gone, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Now we just have to keep stretching and doing weights,
That's right. Eating properly.
eating properly.
Yeah. No, it's all the
But
all
that's
that,
part
all
of-
the stuff that you should do your whole life,
Having that feeling is part of what makes you be able to do this now, I would think. Having the same spirit of energy, I always see you as an enthusiast.
Yes. I mean, in some ways, I've always I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and my mother would always, when we were young, if my brothers were going to play ball hockey or whatever it was, it'd be like, take your brother with you. And so, I try too hard because I was always playing with older kids, and so when I'd play with kids my own age, I was, I'd kind of be bossy and I just try too hard, and that's always been, I think that's been a positive thing at times, and it's been a pain in the ass at other times, because it's like sometimes just find where the flow is, find where the flow is, find where people are going, and be part of it. I'm always impatient, and I was impatient more so in the past. And that's not a great way to live your life, being impatient.
If I were to ask you the wizened old bastard question, it would be, what's a piece of advice that you neglected or were late to heed that you wish you did?
Musically, I think once again it's an aspect of patience, which is listening, particularly in a recording situation. Let it unfold. Don't be so quick to dismiss an idea before it's actually had an opportunity to fully play out. And that is something that I hope that I've learned, because initially I had an opinion about everything all the time. And, you don't need to do that.
In our 20s, didn't we all, though? Weren't we all a little bit like that? I mean,
We were always right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were always right.
Yeah. I think you learn over time to let go a bit. And also, something that is very important to me now is to work with good people all the time. In my life, I want to be around positive people. I don't want to be around negative people. I don't want to be around negativity, cynicism. it's so unproductive.
Negative people like who? Tell me.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. Let's name names.
I honestly don't know at this point, because I seek out positive people, and
Well, I think
people
that
who-
side of you is so when you're in the audience listening to Skydiggers, what you're doing is feeding everybody that positive energy, and everybody just is feeding off of that. I mean,
Oh, good.
the concert hall on Friday was a perfect example. There were a lot of happy people up there, but they were just looking to you as the guide for.
Well, that's
You
nice
know?
of you to say. I mean, I looked on stage. I look to them as well.
Right.
You know, there's a joyfulness in Jessie Bell Smith, and then sometimes it's not an outward joyfulness that you can see immediately. It's more in the playing. You know, you can hear the way that Josh plays, or that Derek plays, or Aaron and Noel. Michael, there's more of an outward joyfulness on the keyboards. But
Yeah, when he comes out of his shell,
if he ever will, yeah,
I think we'll be really onto something.
But it's, you know, to be surrounded by that kind of energy
Yes.
is really great.
I love how Jessie swings her skirt.
Yeah.
And then when the two of you are dancing together, she's swinging the skirt and you're doing your moves.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
It's joyful, and that you know, we've been so fortunate with Josh and me with the band that we've had several different incarnations of the band, and they've all been, you know, we've been very fortunate that they all have brought something a little different to the table, but the bands have always, our mission has been to present the songs in as honest a way as possible. And I think every version of the band has done that and continues to do that.
What are your plans for this summer? What's happening?
We've got some dates through the summer and into the fall. Yeah, things are going really well.
The situation. Sheds punched a mascot. Derek soiled the side of the van. Beautiful, misbegotten youth. Grab as much as you can. Telling tales of Pecos Bill and head smashed in Buffalo Jump. Dwelling in the house of excellence and smoking hash by the junk. Take a look at what you have done. You made the best of the situation. Take a look at what you have done. You made the best of the situation. Now that is my story, incomplete, but mostly the truth. About 5 guys in a Honda, making music, making memories with nothing to lose. Take a look at what you have done. You made the most of the situation. Take a look at what we have done. We made the best of the situation. Run, rabbit, away you run. Run away with your imagination. Run, rabbit, rabbit, run away with your imagination.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Joel?
Thank you. I was just thinking about how you're the youngest of 3 boys, and I was the youngest of 4 boys.
Yeah.
And my mother wanted by this point, she wanted a female.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to be a girl.
Yes, and they had a name for me. I was going to be Jody.
Oh.
And then I came out as and that was the first time the sight of my disappointed a woman.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Goldslinger.
Original material.
Editor.
Hey.
Editor.
Thank you, Andy.
Oh, thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Andy's 2024 EP is called Goldslinger and is available wherever music is enjoyed. Employee of the Myth is recorded at Blue Rodeo's Woodshed Studios in Toronto, Ontario. The podcast is engineered by Tim Vesley and edited and mixed by Jane Gowan. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate, review, share, subscribe, and play it loud. For more information about what you just heard, check the show notes. For more information about Skydiggers, visit skydiggers.com. My name is Joel Stewart. Thanks for listening.
Don't look to me for the answer. I don't know nothing anymore. I'll do my best in the meantime and wonder what it's been for. Je t'aime toujours, mon amour. Je t'aime toujours, mon amour.